We're going to react to Christian McCaffrey being traded to the San Francisco 49ers. We did react to this live, so make sure, if in case you missed it, you can just watch that video on the channel right now. But really, it's time to gauge what the fan base is thinking. And I think what we do here at Chat Sports is better than any other YouTube channel out there. We really do understand the pulse of the fan base, and this is a great opportunity to explore that. So with that, let's open up the floor, take your super chats, take your questions to see what you all have to say about this acquisition of Run CMC. Edson Dart with the $5 super chat. Cheers to you, my guy. Love the possibility of Trey Lance with Christian McCaffrey and Deebo next year. Brandon Aiyuk, George Kittle. My God, what a team. And yeah, what I said in the initial reaction video was, look, this isn't a move just for this year. Obviously, the Niners are going all in on 2022 because they believe that they have a team that is well equipped to go after a Super Bowl championship. But because Christian McCaffrey is under contract for the next couple of years, he's going to be under team control for the foreseeable future. And while he did miss a lot of games in 2020 and 2021, he only played in 10 games total. This is a guy who's still only 26 years old. This guy does have some gas left in the tank, and I'm so excited to see how Kyle Shanahan can utilize him in this offense and the level of creativity that he comes up with. Michael Everett, $3 in Australian currency. G'day, mate. Great news on a Friday afternoon. It really is a Friday afternoon now. We're recording this late on a Thursday night Central Time, but it's Friday in the land down under. So, Michael Everett, it's great news for you, and it's great news for everybody. Look, I understand it's a high price tag. You gave up a lot, but the 49ers do a phenomenal job of finding and identifying talent in the mid to late rounds of the NFL draft. So while you give up a couple of third-round picks and a second-round pick, you can make up for that through free agency and by having a very good draft process. And the Niners have proven under Kyle Shanahan, John Lynch, and Adam Peters that they can do just that. William Sprain with the $2 super chat. Forever a Packer. I do like your show, though. Chug. Hey, because you're tuned in and you're a Green Bay Packers fan, I'll give you a beer. Cheers. Rose the Chief, what do you think about Trey Lance, Christian McCaffrey, Brandon Aiyuk, Deebo Samuel? We trade Juwan Jennings for a player or pick a big-bodied wide receiver and bring him onto the team, or a center. So I think that this offense is pretty set right now. The acquisition and the trade for Christian McCaffrey doesn't really impact Jauan Jennings. He is still going to be your wide receiver 3. And he's a very good possession and slot wide receiver. I like his size coming out of that position. Christian McCaffrey doesn't really impact him there. Now, I understand why you might think so because Christian McCaffrey can be put out in the slot, but primarily he's going to be used as a running back, and then he'll be used like a Ferrari. Like, you can utilize him in a couple of ways in the slot and out of the backfield. The last point you make, I think, is the biggest glaring hole on this team. That's center. Jake Brendel is not good. We said it once Alex Mack retired that the Niners could not move forward with a journeyman center who had never been a starter before and a guy who just isn't that high quality of a player. He hasn't been good this year, and that's now the biggest hole on this roster. Bruce Kuhn, $5. Cheers to both of those. I love McCaffrey, but this is just one running back. What does this change for the Super Bowl? Is he 100% healthy for the long run? Also, is he a one-year deal or a multiple-year deal? So I do have Christian McCaffrey's contract details here. He's under contract through 2025. He is pretty expensive. Cap hit in 2023 of 19.5. That's the same figure in 2024. Then in 2025, it goes down to 15.4. You can always find ways to pull off some salary cap gymnastics and kind of push that money to the end of the contract to free up some money in the immediacy of the moment. But this isn't just a rental. This isn't just a one-year deal. McCaffrey's 26 years old. He looks really healthy right now, and this is going to be a potential weapon in the future as well as in the present for San Francisco. And what does it do? It just adds this juice. It adds excitement. It adds explosiveness to an offense that's been middle of the pack all year in the NFL. Mike Murillo, another 5. Cheers to that as well. I want to see if anyone else is a Brock Purdy fan. He was good in college, maybe some more experience, but I feel like he has potential. I like him as a backup. I think he projects to be better than a guy like Nick Mullins, who did have some success as a spot starter. But the thing about backups, they're backups for a reason. They can play well for a game, a couple of games. But as long as the tape is out there, defenses will adjust. And also, backups are somewhat limited. And Brock Purdy's a little bit limited. He's a little bit short in stature. He's a little bit small in stature. Doesn't have the strongest arm. Has some pretty decent athleticism, but he is a little bit limited as an athlete. But as a backup, hell yeah. You get a good quality backup who can make a start or two here and there in the final pick of the NFL draft. That's good value right there because backup quarterback is very, very valuable. Bruce with another 2. We need a franchise quarterback, seriously. Yes, that's also what the Niners are missing. Like I said, center early on was the biggest weakness. It is, because I do believe that Jimmy Garoppolo can at least win with this team as long as he plays point guard. He plays a clean bill of football. He doesn't turn the rock over. Then this offense can move downfield. They can go on these elongated drives to eat up clock, to run it right down your throat, to play this physical brand. But also, I think that they can start competing in some shootouts with a player like Christian McCaffrey adding to this offense as a whole with the bevy of weapons that are also on this team. So, Bruce, thank you for those super chats, man. Do appreciate that. My guy, Mike Honcho with 10. What a Thursday night. Bang, bang, Niner gang. Welcome to the Bay CMC. And McCaffrey, if you're watching, San Francisco. Welcome to the Bay Area, a blue blood franchise. That's why I'm happy that the Niners made this move. Look, the quest for 6 has been on and popping for a really long time. And with the offense being as stagnant as it was, hopefully Christian McCaffrey being on this team helps out the other weapons. It helps out Jimmy Garoppolo throwing the football, also running the football, and it gives the Niners a better opportunity to compete for a Super Bowl. And when it comes down to competing for a Super Bowl, what helps? Winning your division. So are the 49ers NFC West favorites now? According to the odds makers, they are. I think they're the best team in this division. And while they've struggled in some games and have suffered some really head-scratching losses, the 49ers still are in first place in the NFC West. And if you win the division, you have a home game, and I like the Niners' chances when it comes down to January because that's what this team is built for, and I think Christian McCaffrey can help get them there. Sure, $5. San Francisco to my Rams friend. Sweep them. Coach Guzman, SF Super Bowl bound. Keep up the great work, Brother Chase. Hey, I appreciate that because you brought some energy there, and for all those other super chats, I'm going to give you a beer, cheers, and then drink a little bit more after the cut is over. But we're just celebrating Christian McCaffrey. $2. Shotgun a beer for the occasion. Shoot, I'll shotgun a beer for y'all. I said I'd do it for a $50 super chat. I'll do it anyway. I'll do it for the occasion. Merlin Russell, $5. Why don't we draft him instead of Solomon Thomas? Solomon Thomas was a huge whiff. It's like you have the ball set up on a tee, and you're ready to hit it, you're ready to go yard to dead center, maybe even go into McCovey Cove, and you just swing and miss, and then you turn around and you fall on your face. That's what the Niners did drafting Solomon Thomas. They shouldn't have gone running back that early in the draft, but they should not have drafted Solomon Thomas. A massive, massive bust. Cameron, our first non-super chat. Congratulations, Cameron. Does this make signing Lamar next year impossible? Oh, boy, that's juicy. No, it doesn't make it impossible. It makes it a little bit harder, though, because of the money that you're paying Christian McCaffrey. Lamar Jackson with Christian McCaffrey would be weird and wild and entertaining and frenetic, especially with Deebo as well with that receiving and running threat. But Lamar Jackson in the guts of the game as a strict passer does concern me a lot. That's when I'm concerned about Lamar Jackson. He can do all these other flashy things really, really well at an extraordinarily high level. Going into last week, he had been leading the NFL with 10 touchdown passes from the pocket, so he's certainly gotten better there. But when the going gets tough and when the game gets tight, he's really struggled as a passer in those moments. And at the end of the day, you can run as well as you can with Lamar Jackson, and you can be explosive. You can be dynamic. But the way to win in the NFL, in my opinion, is winning from the pocket. Make sure you subscribe to the channel for more coverage like this, informative, entertaining analysis. Hit that red subscribe button down below. My goal at some point is to get the 49ers Report to 100,000 subscribers. We're at 64K right now, so hit that red sub button. And for those of you who were telling me in the comment section, why do you keep talking about Christian McCaffrey? It's never going to happen. This is also why you subscribe, because we read the tea leaves, and sometimes we're ahead of the ball game, and that's why we talk about these subject matters. EA, $2. What a day for the faithful, live from enemy turf. So EA tuned in from Los Angeles. And it's pretty wild how bad the Rams are right now. And we'll see what really the Rams are in 2 weeks as they host the Niners at Levi Stadium South at SoFi, right outside of Los Angeles. I just don't think they're very good. Noteboom suffered that season-ending injury. That offensive line is bad. They're 31st in running the football. Matthew Stafford has been okay, but he relies way too heavily on Cooper Kupp. This is the 49ers division to win. Yes, the Arizona Cardinals beat the Saints on Thursday Night Football, but the Saints stink, right? So this is the division for San Francisco to win. Steve Cass, I always see in the comments section, Steve, great to interact with you here. How will this trade affect the Niners' ability to keep important players next year due to a salary cap hit? It will impact it. You have to imagine that you're going to try to maybe restructure the contract to push some of that money toward the back end of the deal to maximize you being able to spend money and build a good roster. If you can move on from a player like Javon Kinlaw, like Eric Armstead, because you still have good depth pieces at defensive tackle, that frees up some money. Brandon Aiyuk's going to be looking for a new deal. Nick Bosa's going to be looking for a new deal, even though he'll be playing for like $18 million next year. There's no doubt from a team-building strategy perspective, Steve, it will alter and impact that. So my other question for you, do the Niners have the best receiving weapons in the NFL now with Christian McCaffrey joining the charge in the NFC? I want you to let me know in the comment section. I mean, think about it, right? Think about what Kyle Shanahan has at his disposal. Deebo, Aiyuk, Kittle, McCaffrey, Jauan Jennings, Ray-Ray McCloud. Hopefully Danny Gray shows up at some point and gets out of the witness protection program. Rose the Chief, $10 super chat. So is there any big-bodied wide receivers you prefer, or do you think the Niners could get Jauan Jennings? If so, who are they in your opinion? I'm not a fan of Jauan Jennings, by the way. So, look, Jauan Jennings is what he is. He's a possession wide receiver who oftentimes moves the chains. That's what Jauan Jennings is. He is not a world beater. He is not breathtaking by any means. He's not even that prototypical, like, big-bodied wide receiver who you throw that fade route to. But even though the Niners don't really have that guy, and they thought that they had it in Jalen Hurd, what a disaster that was, they do have guys who can go up and get it, and guys who play physical, George Kittle, Deebo Samuel. So is there a big-bodied wide receiver out there? I'd really have to think long and hard about that. OBJ obviously doesn't fit that profile, but there might be a guy who can be a red zone threat, but also you have red zone threats on this team. I mean, look at Brandon Aiyuk against the Falcons. 2 red zone touchdowns. Deebo is a running back and a receiver. Christian McCaffrey, George Kittle. Like, this team, I think, is set in terms of weapons, Rose. Appreciate that super, though. Evan Hinders, it's GM Evan. Trade Jeff Wilson to the Ravens for Justin Houston. A decent edge, but he's a little bit older. I think that you need to hold on to Jeff Wilson right now because Elijah Mitchell is still hurt. Let's now shift gears to Cisco, 1946. Chase, how many total rushing yards will CMC end up with by the end of the year? Are you talking just with the Niners? So we're 6 games in, 11 to play. I think anything north of 800 rushing yards for McCaffrey is a huge win. Let's go with 800 rushing yards. If it's 1,000 though, Cisco, we're going to dance like Cisco back in the day. Let me see that thumb, baby, run CMC. How many rush yards will CMC have over the next several games? Let me know. 12 games? Did I mess that math up? They played 6, so it's 11. 11 plus 6 is 17, 18-week schedule. Either way, how many games or how many rush yards will CMC have in 11 games? Let us know right now in the comment section. Boom, Jeremy Chugs on it like he always is. Let us know. Give us some feedback there in the comment section. More questions continue to come in. Mr. Block Ice 22. We are good at drafting players in the late rounds, not worried about trading those picks. What say you? Yeah, that's what I said. And that's been a strength of Kyle Shanahan, John Lynch, and Adam Peters. Look, the Rams proved last year. Fuck them picks, right? Just like Sia said. So let's pivot to that. That's hilarious that was the next super chat, Jeremy. Sia, F those draft picks, right? Exactly. Give them all up and some more. 2024 picks for Brian Burns and J.C. Horn now, too. We can dream, right? I don't think the Burns happens now. But look, the offense needed the jolt. The defense did not need the jolt. It was the offense that needed the jolt, and they got that much-needed jolt by trading for McCaffrey. But you're right. The Niners have identified so many good players in the mid to late rounds. So that's why I'm cool with giving up the draft picks. Plus, draft picks don't always help you in a Super Bowl window, which is open and available for the Niners right now. Mike Murillo, $5. All we're missing is a quarterback. Lance already had a major injury. Can he fully recover from this? Can Purdy work his way to a starting position? Look, I don't think that Brock Purdy is a starting caliber quarterback in this league. I just don't. I think that Brock Purdy is more of a backup. He reminds me of a better Nick Mullins. He is small in stature. He doesn't have the strongest arm, not the greatest athlete. He's a little bit limited with what he brings to that quarterback spot. As a backup, that's cool. But yes, you bring up a very solid point. I'm worried about the future of Trey Lance. I'm not sure if Trey Lance is going to be able to recover from this. And when he does come back, what type of player is he going to be? We're talking about a guy who has barely played any football over the last 4 years. That right there is a huge concern for this organization moving forward. There's no question about that. Before we wrap up this mailbag, make sure you give me a follow on social media at Chase_Senior. If I didn't answer your question on the show, make sure you slide in my DMs, hit me up, give me a follow. I'm always keeping you up to date with all things Niners year-round because this is what we do at the end of the day. It's at Chase_Senior on Twitter and Instagram.